uh, leaving the Mauritanian, I guess. So glad to be back at the movie theaters again. I know we're wearing these masks and being safe. 2 other people in there. But boy, just the opportunity to give back to the movie theaters is something. It's something to, freedom to do things. This pandemic, that's one thing it's got us. Freedom is. And where am I going with this? And how is it related to this movie? Because it's about freedom. Gitmo and 9/11 and the terrorists and what they did to this country. That's the basis of the story of the Mauritanian. It's something I wrote earlier about, was that it would be useful to have more stories about those times. And there's a lot of stories we have that haven't been told. This one involves a gentleman who allegedly was responsible for orchestrating and hiring the people, those terrorists that got aboard and flew those planes. And he claimed he was innocent. The defense attorney, played by Jodie
Sync has
Foster.
connected to your phone and is reminding you that 911 assist is set to off.
The defense attorney, Jodie Foster with gray hair, playing the attorney, Nancy, was that what it was? Nancy Hollington or Holling, something like that. And of course, another good role for her. She's something else. What did you think of that film?
It was long. Not really my kind of movie.
You remember where we were on 9/11? We were in Las Vegas.
I do.
It wasn't one of those movies where it's like a court pot boiler court situation, where I kind of thought it might be like that, where you would have whether this person was innocent or guilty. It wasn't really one of those type stories. It was handled more through this guy's in Guantanamo Bay, Gitmo as they refer to it. I don't want to get too much more into the specifics of the case or the movie, but because it's it kind of ruins it if we do that, and we don't do spoilers here. But so it wasn't your kind of movie, too slow for you, didn't really interest you? Is that what you're saying, or
Didn't interest me.
So I mean, did you have a rating out of 5 stars based on that? I mean, 1 out of 5. Wow. Okay, so it just wasn't your thing. Wasn't.
No.
It was slow, and it was just not a drama. Boy, we've seen some movies lately where I just don't share the same, I guess.
Yeah, but you like documentaries.
Yeah, I mean,
Stuff like that, and I don't really care for them.
which is this? Can we turn? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was slow, and I had feared that when I saw the original, that it was over 2 hours. And I looked at my phone at one point in the movie theater and went, darn it, it's an hour and a half. Like there's an eternal movie clock in me that goes off saying the movie should be over, and it wasn't over. However, I was interested in, all the way through the end credits. It kept me entertained, so that's why I'm going to give it a 3. But I mean, I probably should take away another star, make it 2, just because of the length, that they just can't tell a tight story. But I think the subject matter is really good, and it just how they present things in movies these days. We talked about it even in the movie we saw, The Marksman, too long. And if it just would have cut, I mean, the story wasn't that complex, yet it was drug out. So but I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 stars because I just thought the subject matter was so important. And I would like to, there was a period of time after 9/11 we didn't get any of those type of stories because it was too soon. You know, the raw wounds of it. And now, you know, that it's been, God, it's going to be 20 years. It was 20 years. 9/11, 2020. You know, now it's this year will be 20 years.
Right.
And September 11th, this year will be 20 years since that happened. It does it seem like 20 years since 9/11 to you? Because it doesn't to me. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. But it's 20 years. And this guy was in Gitmo for 14 years. So almost that amount of time. But imagine if it was him in that prison or that holding facility. It probably seemed like 50 years to him. So, anyway. Not a recommended movie by either of us because our new rule is 4 out of 5 stars. But Kara's giving it 1 star out of 5. The Mauritanian, I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars. Penalizing it heavily for the length because, again, I think they could have tightened it up. But Jodie Foster's performance, I thought, as a trial attorney, very, very good. Love the interaction with her and the prosecuting attorney. Love that. Love those scenes. I wish there would have been a few more of those. A few more interactions between them. I get it from the story the way it was, but there was some real tension there. But yeah, I mean, the bulk of the movie is, you know, she's going to meet this guy in Gitmo. He's writing letters. I mean, receiving letters. It's not, to Kara's point, I think, it's not terribly an interest. I mean, how entertaining is that? Even though the subject matter is super compelling, but, you know, so I'm probably going out on a limb with my 3 stars. It probably could be 2 mediocre, based purely on the length and the way the material was presented. But we got Jodie Foster. God, I just love seeing Jodie Foster in action. She's been in a lot of movies that I've enjoyed. I mean, of course, number 1 being Silence of the Lambs. So I thought, you know, there's certain actors, you know, it's like Tom Hanks is another one. You see him and it's like, even if the material, the screenplay isn't the best, the presentation of what they're doing, but you just kind of enjoy seeing them on acting out there. So that's she's kind of in there. So I might be, if given to rewatch this, and I don't think I'll ever rewatch this film again, but if I were, I'd probably give it 2 stars. But for all intents and purposes, just leaving the theater, I'm going with 3 out of 5 stars. Maybe when I sit down and write the text review of it, I give it a little less than that. But Kara's 1 star. I'm 3 stars out of 5. The Mauritanian in theaters now. We saw it literally the first night we could in the theaters. And thank you for watching our just left the theater review. There's a link in the description if you want to read the full text review. Thank you.